So today we have Cuthbert.
Yeah.
He's the future artist, entrepreneur. How would you describe yourself?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as a future artist. Um,
Recent one.
I mean, I've been uh I've been discovering art and different forms of it since I'd say it goes back to like ever since I was probably 6 years old, man.
Down.
Yeah.
So you had it in you.
I don't know if I could say that I had it in me, but I think it took somebody to inspire me for me to discover it in myself, I guess.
I feel like, man, I feel like you have an artist in you. Just the way you are. Just could you imagine? One in 400 trillion of the odds of you being born in this world. Just
I mean, when
the
you
way you are, the way you think, who you are.
when you put it that way, it's yeah, damn.
Isn't it crazy?
I mean, it's like, just being born in itself is an achievement. Like,
Yeah, man.
congratulations.
Exactly, right? Yeah, bro.
It's like you passed the first test. But yeah, like honestly, you know what? I think I think we're in an interesting time right now where and just kind of going back to COVID, I think what COVID did is it gave people an opportunity to kind of reinvent themselves. And like in reinventing yourself, um, there's those that do it by choice, but most of the time, actually, life does that to you, right? So,
Yeah,
just imagine. I mean, just think of like how many entrepreneurs really just kind of stemmed out of COVID. How many billionaires stemmed out of COVID? And we're not going to talk about the conspiracies as
yeah,
far as people profiting off of COVID, but I'm just talking about like um the opportunities that people found when the whole world just comes to a halt, when everything that you know comes to a standstill, right?
yeah,
Everything that you've been used to, the modes of earning your living, all the
yeah.
traditional things that we knew, when all of that came to a stop, then all the content creators that came out, all the artists that came out, like that paradigm shift in my mind really pushed people to rediscover themselves, right? Now I say all that to say this. I think within us is a sense of creativity, a sense of wonder, a sense of um, you know like wanting to discover the world. It's like
Yeah,
going on a voyage of sorts, and I think that is in each and every person, right?
I do agree. Yeah,
But it takes the right circumstances,
yeah,
to unlock. It's almost like a puzzle, kind of like,
bro.
to unlock that and then put you to another level where you now start to walk in that. For a lot of people, it was COVID. For a lot of people, it's going through a breakup, you know.
That's true, man. I do. Yeah,
For some people, it's
it
literally losing
it has to
everything.
be that one event that can change their life, bro.
Yeah.
Like let's say with COVID, man. Like a lot of creators started coming out because they have a lot more time think or sitting by themselves.
Yeah.
And what do they do when they're sitting?
Yeah.
All they think is like, what do I really want?
And what's interesting is, what are most people afraid of?
That's true. They're afraid to take that leap, bro.
Even before we get to that step, what you find is you'll find that the world is so busy, and actually I'm so guilty for that. Like, we make ourselves busy because we're afraid to rid ourselves of the excuses that we have of why
Yeah,
we're not doing certain things. And
that's
then
true.
COVID happens, and then you don't have a choice. Now you're sat there in your room like, oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I guess I've always wanted to do this. I guess I have nothing else to do but to maybe just jump into it and see what
that's true,
happens,
man.
right?
So are you hoping to do you have any of your music out there right now recently?
Um, so I mean, I don't have any music put out, um any recent music put out. I do have like old stuff that I did a long time ago. And I mean, when I think about my journey as an artist. Um, and I honestly don't know how like other creators do it. I think you're an artist in and of your own right.
In a way, yeah.
But it's like I feel like the circumstances, the steps, the processes that you've put in place to kind of get the results that you get are very unique to you. And I mean, for me, it's just one of those things where um, it's very, very hard to like I don't make content for the sake of, right? For me
Right.
it's not from and here's the thing, like we live in a
Hmm.
world where, you know, we are saturated, bombarded with um so much around us. Whether it's
I agree.
podcasts, it's music, it's
Yeah,
influencers, it's products and brands that are being thrown at you. So it's like there's just like the most sought after real estate in the world right now is your attention, your mind,
that's
right?
true, man.
Everybody's trying to get a piece of you, right?
Yeah,
And when you go, behind that, what are the motives behind that? Whether it's monetary, a profit,
that's true.
uh, you know, uh, making a killing, that sort of
Yeah,
thing. So it's like different people have different, processes and different reasons as to why they do what they do, right?
exactly.
So for me, and I guess I say all that to say this, for me, it becomes very, very, very difficult to look at art from the standpoint of, okay, I'm just going to create for the sake of creating.
Yeah,
Like I'm the kind of person, when when I'm not in the zone, I'm not feeling it. It's really, really challenging. Like
yeah,
a good therapeutic thing becomes a chore, right?
that's
So
true, man.
yeah,
Like if you try to make money out of it, it's more like if you're doing it for the money, it's more like a chore. Like
yeah,
you're doing a chore, like, okay, I got to do
yeah,
this so I could try to make money.
yeah,
But if you do it in a way where it's like, well, I can relate to that because with my stuff that I have right now, it's like I've always liked filming, I've always liked creating content, but then with everything going on with like YouTube, TikTok, everything now that we're like, oh, I'm making so much money out of this. It's like you think of it as like, oh, I can make money too. But then when you put it in that way, your creative's mindset is gone, bro. It's like out of
exactly.
the window.
But see, here's the thing though. So here's the challenge, right? Because don't get me wrong, I'm not naive enough to think that, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be like about the art,
Yeah.
like forget. No, I mean we need to eat. You
Yeah,
got to pay
exactly.
bills.
Exactly, man.
You got to survive. So at some point, and this is the challenge. This is a challenge, and this is where I kind of really, really appreciate, our time, our brief time together as we, continue. And I don't know where life is going to take us and what we're going to achieve. Probably great things. Um, but your approach, I really appreciate because it's like, it's that like get up and go. Like, what excuse do you have, right?
Exactly,
But
man.
then it's like, so where is that balance? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be naive enough to be like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on the art. It's all about the art, blah
Yeah.
blah, yada yada. But at some point, this is where I'm gonna throw another word in here: conviction, right? So for me, and actually, this goes back to this. Okay, this might blow some people's minds. It might not. But one of the most influential conversations I ever had in my life was when a friend of mine was really kind of just helping me through a hard time, right? And he's like, a lot of people have it wrong. A lot of people focus on, hey, you know what, do what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
That is actually one of the most dangerous things to do, right? Because you're really, and this is going to be very hard for a lot of people to hear. And for some, you might resonate with this. It might vibe with you. For others, it might not. And you know what? This is not for everybody. And I'm not the kind of person who's trying to convince or trying to shove something at you. Like I'll just give you my truth. And if you vibe with it, great. If not, that's cool. We can still be friends. But my friend told me, he's like, you know what? A lot of people have this wrong. We talk about, I will find that fulfillment when I'm doing something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is, passion comes and it goes. Today you're inspired,
Yeah.
tomorrow you're not feeling it, right?
That's so
So
true, man.
what does that do to your productivity, right? And so
Yeah.
this is what he said. He's like, rather than focusing on what you're passionate about, because as you grow, your passions can change, right?
Yeah,
But the reality is your convictions are your core beliefs that for the most part don't change,
that's true. I agree to
right?
that, man.
Um, and so rather than being fueled by passion, because when that passion is gone, then that fulfillment in what you're doing is gone. Then you question your existence like, wait, is this who I even am now?
Yeah.
Is this what I was about? But it's like, what is now helping me find that balance is finding conviction in what I'm doing. What
Wow.
is the conviction, right? And that's just
Yeah,
going back to your why,
that's
right?
true, man. Like with me here, I've always loved doing this. And then when it comes to where the money is, it's like it kind of like you think about it as like, okay, you think about the money most of the time nowadays. Because yeah, like you said, we gotta eat and all that, right?
Mhm.
But then my main purpose for this now and why I'm doing this is that as we get older, man, I realize that we only have this one in a lifetime opportunity, bro.
Yeah.
And especially that now I have a kid,
Your
it,
whole life changes.
the whole life changes, man. I kid you not, man. Like I think about it as this is basically a documentation, bro. Like if things go wrong, like knock on wood, I won't be here no more tomorrow. At least I have a documentation saved for me, for my kid to watch. And he's gonna be
Wow.
like, holy crap, that's my dad right there. He's like this. Think about it, bro. We don't have this kind of technology back then. Isn't that crazy?
See, see, that's the conviction right there,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And so whether you feel like, you know, you're not really feeling it some
Yeah,
days or you're feeling it some days, right? When you think about your why,
yeah,
your
that's true.
conviction, it's like there is no question, right?
Exactly, man.
And see, and that's what I mean, right? Your conviction isn't governed by your passion as to
Yeah,
whether you're feeling it one day.
exactly. Yeah,
And so your conviction is going to then develop discipline,
yeah,
right?
that's true, man.
Right. And so now going back to your question, have I put out anything lately? Right. You challenge me,
Yeah,
right? You challenge me. It's not now I went back to thinking about like what is my why,
yeah,
right? Like who am I? Right. And I have all of this stuff that I can do. Like, how ridiculous is it? Oh, and by the way, I have no excuse. I have a studio in my
yeah.
house.
That's good, bro.
I have a studio in my house. I know how to use all of the, all of the tools
I
that,
think I think you just gotta change your mindset, bro.
yeah.
You gotta change your mindset as of like, I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm doing this for myself. And as far as making content, you could change your mindset to like, I'm just documenting the process.
Yeah.
Like I've done so many podcasts before, virtual, in person, and some months there I take like 4 month gap, but then I always think about it as like, oh, I always go back. It's
Hmm.
like this is one of my passion, or this is one of the things that I always love to do,
Hmm.
and it goes back to the why,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like, why am I doing this for some reason, right?
And you touched on something really, really, really key. When you have the so, and this is that sweet spot when you have the conviction that is flowing and vibing with your passion,
Yeah,
right?
that's true,
When
man.
those things are locked in, man, I think you move mountains,
I
right?
think it's just a matter of discipline. Like you have those two now, and then I think you just gotta apply discipline on that now.
So
You gotta be
basically,
consistent.
what you're talking about is kind of the challenge, and you didn't necessarily say it like this, but that's how I felt it, and I didn't even take offense. Really, it was just like like it's a fair question I need to ask myself. It's like, what am I doing, right?
Yeah,
So, I've really, really, really thought about kind of where my future is going to go. And here's the thing, like I'll be real with you, right? You know this, before you have a kid, you have all these ambitions, all these goals, like, man, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I see myself building this business and I see myself tapping into that
yeah,
opportunity. And then you have your kid, right?
hmm
And that's not to say that all your dreams die, right?
yeah,
But the why changes.
exactly.
Right? It's like, I want to do this because,
That's true, man.
right? So when you kind of challenge me, it's like, and don't get me wrong, I mean, there are things that obviously we've had some conversations, and there are things that I'm kind of doing on the side here and there, and but I feel like honestly, like my 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 natural God-given um, instruments, I think are uh, in music, but also in great conversation.
Yeah.
And we've already had some pretty epic
Yeah,
conversations,
that's
right?
true.
And I think that we're going to continue to have more. And there are things that we're kind of learning about each other,
Exactly.
things we're learning about ourselves, and things that we're learning about the times that we're in. And I think that honestly, the future kind of looks bright, and not necessarily from a monetary standpoint,
Yeah.
but I feel like we're in a time right now where we really need to take a step back as far as where the money is coming from, but start
Yeah.
to think about our impact on this generation,
Exactly. Yeah.
the legacy that we leave, for our kids,
That's true, man.
right? So I'm looking at the instruments that I have, the great conversations, the voices that we have.
Mm-hmm.
You have a brilliant mind. You have you have a great voice, and I'm not talking about like from a physical,
Yeah.
uh, you know, just being able to speak standpoint, but I mean being able to reach people, being able to
Yeah.
reach through to the person,
I think I've always had that, man. Like, when you're sitting in a class and you get bullied, and then on top of your head, like, man, I'm better than these people here. Like, I'm telling you, like, although you do your exams and all that, like,
Mhm.
and you get C mark, C minus, and all you think is like, damn, I'm not dumb. Like, I, I just
Like
don't like. This
I'm
is just not my thing.
yo
You know what I mean? It's like
yo.
this is not my thing. Like, I just have a different perspective.
You know what's crazy? Look, the reality is we're gonna have many conversations,
Oh,
right? But you know
absolutely,
what
man.
you're talking about right now is breaking away. Basically, see what was happening there for you is you had a very early awakening, right?
Yeah,
And some
I'd
people
say so.
never happen that. I mean, never experienced that. You had a very early awakening, right? Here's the thing: I was questioning those things when I was in grade 3.
Yeah, I
Like I
was
was
in
questioning the
elementary
world when I
too.
was in
Yeah,
grade 3,
yeah,
looking up at the posters like, yo, that doesn't make sense, and
yeah,
then thinking, but I'm a kid, so I can't ask those questions. So
yeah.
what was happening to you is you had a very early awakening, which you were finding your purpose and your calling at a very young age,
Mm-hmm.
and then realizing that you weren't really fitting into the environment. Not that
Mm-hmm.
you didn't belong, right? But the purpose was not to
Yeah,
be held back or to stay. But then the environments that we grow up in, we are conditioned to fit in. You have to fit the
that's true,
mold.
man.
You have to be
It's so
part
sad,
of the
bro.
collective. And it's like, and that really, really messes up a lot of kids, growing up, right? And so
For
what you're
sure,
saying
man.
there, and I mean, I'll let you go ahead, but basically what you're telling me is you had a very early awakening, and
Yeah,
I experienced that, and it only made sense to me when I got older. Like, yo,
I know,
I was waking up a long time ago.
bro. Same, man. Like, I literally would just like as we get older, man. Like, we always have this thing in the back of our head where it's like our brain is like a bunch of boxes. Hey, it's like when we go to school, we're meant to think in this box,
Yeah.
and that's it. If you think outside that box, it's like you get canceled. Like
Mm-hmm.
your teacher might be like,
Yep.
okay, you can't think that way, you
Yep.
can't do that. And then as we get older, and we start realizing, we get our conscious mind, we're like, man, we have so many boxes in our brain where we can pull and open up, and it's a whole different idea, man.
Yep. You know what I love? My daughter, um, at a very, I mean, she's only 6 right now, but I mean, she's like well ahead of her years. It blows my mind just watching her grow up.
Yeah,
Like honestly, being a parent, I mean, it might not be for everyone, but if you've never been a parent,
they won't be able to relate,
it's
bro.
yeah, it's just hard to understand. Like it's almost like it's like for those of you that game, it's like when you're playing a video game and the progression, like okay, there's this level, and then you're leveling up, you're leveling up, but then it's like you get to like a hidden level,
Yeah,
you know, within the game that is like a whole new game, and then you didn't even realize that it was there.
yeah,
And yeah, so it's like that's kind of, I mean, that's a really crappy analogy. It's not the my best analogy, but that's kind of what being a parent. And don't get me wrong, it comes with its challenges, but it's like you you are watching this little human being grow, right? And for me, I have to be very mindful because I remember what it was like for me growing up and feeling very different,
Yeah.
right? And these, I mean, we're talking about, we come from a different, like a different time, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now one thing that I love about my daughter is I'm not annoyed by the question why, you know? When she
Yeah.
comes up to me and we're gonna do the blah blah blah, Daddy, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me explain to you why, right? And so it's like in the times that we've grown up in, we have been we have been pushed down and suppressed and made to feel uh different or made to feel like something is wrong with us when we question why.
Bro, that's
Why
so
is the most one
true.
of the most empowering, like critical questions that you can ever ask
That's
yourself,
so true, man.
especially when you're going through an awakening. The worst thing you can ever do is to stunt it, to shut off that light that
Yeah.
is trying to shine. It's like, so when you were growing up, and you're looking around the room, like, see, a lot of people fear that. You're experiencing that at a young age. Like, that is so powerful.
Yeah.
Having that awakening, looking around you, having the wherewithal to reflect on your place in the environment that you're in that moment, and
Mm-hmm.
realizing that something is off, yo,
Yeah, man.
that's mind blowing.
And I don't know if other people out there experience the same thing, man. Maybe
They
there
do.
are
No,
some.
no, they do.
I know there's some.
They
Yeah.
do. But society tells
Yeah.
you, like, society is programs you to not think like that.
That's true, bro.
Whoa, 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 stay in your lane. Like, just think about it this way: your mind is literally the most powerful resource. Your creativity is your unique identifier. And what does school do? Or
Shuts that
what
off,
yeah,
man.
what does school does do?
Yeah.
I don't know. But but really think about it,
Yeah, bro.
right? And
See where
then
you
where do
point
we
there.
send our kids?
Yep. That's everybody goes there. Like we all do.
Now,
It's just how the system works.
is it a coincidence that some of the most prolific or some of the most um, creative, brilliant minds to ever exist came from very, very structured up? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's the odd, entrepreneur,
Yeah.
business person. No, like a lot of these guys were realizing the same things, knowing that they were different,
Yeah, man.
stepping outside of the mold, but having the courage to do it, not
Yeah.
be afraid of that awakening and be like, oh, no, 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 there's something wrong with me,
That's true,
you
bro.
know?
Like
So when you
so.
think, yeah, when you think about these guys, like, I mean, we're talking about like most of the world's billionaires, like, who dropped out of
Yep.
college because they
Yep.
felt, wait a minute, like, this is not my
Yep.
place,
That's true, bro.
right? And
Yeah, man.
where are we trying to send? Where are we telling our kids that they have to go?
School, bro. That's where everyone
Right?
goes, man. Even the daycare too. I don't even want my kid to go to daycare, bro. Or I don't know, man. Like it's just that I feel like school is also good in a way, just to build that foundation,
Yeah.
that knowledge.
I think
But
it's a good place for your kid to discover who they are
hmm
outside of the nest,
yeah,
right? Because I think you have to be able to fly, right? But that being said, what is the environment like in that nest? Are we empowering our kids
that's
to
true, man.
think freely, to
Hmm.
ask the critical questions, to not be afraid to question,
Yeah,
to not be afraid to assess the environment around them, to not be afraid to listen to their gut when something feels off, when they feel different,
yeah,
you know? And I mean, a lot of the times, like, just going back to kind of what we're talking about, about the tools that we have, and you discovering, yourself at a very young age, knowing very quickly that there was something off, that you had more in you, right? And it didn't even make sense at the time,
yeah,
but rather than just, I mean, rather it was just like this sense of like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but like I feel like there's
yeah,
something I'm on the verge of something,
yeah.
you know? And then life
And
takes you through these cycles and these events and these opportunities, and then you get to pick all that stuff up, and then eventually when you're looking back, you're like, "Oh, okay.
it makes
All right.
sense.
I can see." And then
Yeah,
learning the patterns starts to position you better to start projecting where you want to go,
that's
right?
true, bro.
And I'm going to be really honest, going back to your initial question, I lost that. And that's why I stopped making music, right? I
Mm.
got so bogged down by the world,
Yeah,
and then really kind of going back into my cocoon of like, okay, so the 9 to 5 grind, and
yeah,
I can't take too many chances because I mean the stakes are pretty high, and
that's true,
and then
man.
you lose that courage and that sense of adventure, but hey, like you said,
I think,
we only have here and now.
man, yeah, that's true. Do you meditate?
I do, but not in the conventional, like, well, what is conventional? Not in like not in the way that someone would think of when they think about meditation,
Yeah.
right?
Well, what do you when you hear meditation, what do you think of it? Like,
Okay, so for me, meditation is a deep state of like self-reflection, or just reflection in general,
hmm,
right? A deep state, kind of going within, right?
yeah,
To me, that's what meditation is, right? And for some people, they consider it as like, okay, you cross your legs, you sit, and then you
yeah.
quiet your mind. I mean,
See, this is the way I see meditation. I've read Think Like a Monk,
mhm.
that book. I've read that book, and I also listened to a bunch of podcasts about meditation. So the whole point of meditation is basically being in the moment, which is right now.
Bro, that
This is why when people, when they just take a deep breath, what does that do to you? It brings you back in the moment. Because we always think of the past, bro. Like what happened this morning,
or the future.
what's gonna happen tomorrow,
Yep.
right? We don't think about now.
You know what's so crazy? Man, you know what? We're gonna have a lot of great conversations
Yeah,
today.
bro. Like I,
So, okay, so get this. Um, for those that know me on a very personal basis, kind of know some of the struggles that I went through.
yeah,
And I'd say that I had an unsuccessful. No, I don't mind just putting it out there. Whatever, it is what it is. If somebody benefits from this, great. If not, it's cool. Just let it go in here and go
yeah,
out of here. So, I've failed at certain things. My marriage being one of them. I look back and I think there are certain things that I could have done differently. Um, but one thing that I really came to understand and realize is the power of being in the moment. And
yeah.
it's very, very, very interesting, but very powerful.
It
When
is, man.
you say what you say, like you have no idea how difficult it is for the majority of the planet, and that's a huge assumption. I could be very wrong. I don't know,
That's
but it's very
a good
difficult.
majority, I'd say.
Yeah, for the majority of the planet to fathom that reality. And
Yeah,
for those of you that have come to that place where you can just be content with stopping and taking a look around you and being in that moment, like you said, and this is kind of one thing that it really, like, for those that struggle with, and I'm not downplaying this. This is just my truth.
yeah,
I'm not trying to crap on anybody out there that's struggling with certain things. But for those of you that struggle with, let's say, depression, anxiety, and all these kind of things, like, I came up with like a checklist, a mental checklist, right? And a mental checklist for me, really, all it is a reset for me to be engaged with the moment,
yeah.
in that moment. What is happening to me in that moment, right? Being able to just to be aware that I can feel my toes when I can wiggle them, you know,
Yeah.
that I can literally feel the breeze, the air, you know,
Hmm.
just being very, very actively conscious of what I'm smelling in
Yeah.
that moment, being very conscious of how I'm actually feeling in my body. Because there's people out there who are in a great deal of discomfort because they're
Hmm.
dealing with a lot of health issues. There's people that are paralyzed from the neck down.
That's true, bro.
There's people that don't even have the luxury to just stop and have that reset
Yeah.
because they're just bombarded with all kinds of thought traffic
I
and
think
anxiety, right?
I think that's
So
the reason why, because we are fed with so many information. Even like if you think about TikTok, I don't even watch TikTok, man.
yeah,
I
I
kid
don't
you not,
either.
man.
Yeah,
Like even shorts, bro.
yeah,
Like that's kind of the stuff that I don't even want to touch. Like some days I would just scroll, but then I look back and like, no, I gotta stop. But
man,
that's the society nowadays,
that is
man. Like
huge.
imagine, bro,
That is huge.
teenagers, kids, bro, 2 hours, 4 hours on TikTok just scrolling. Like if you just stop and take a step back and look around, it's like so many things, creative things you could do, man.
Going back to something we talked about earlier, and people need to get this. Um, the most powerful resource that you have is your mind,
Yeah,
right?
I
And you need
agree,
to
man.
guard it because there's so many forces at play that are literally fighting for that real estate. Okay. Now, the reality is this: you literally are a product of what you feed yourself
That's
mentally,
true.
right? And the sad thing, like you said,
Yeah.
um, what is capturing our minds? Here's the thing: you go out into the world. For those of you that have 9 to 5 jobs and this and that, you go out into the world. You bust your ass. Trade your time for the paycheck, and then you come home, and then you're too tired for your kids,
That's true,
right?
man.
So what do? You put them in front of the TV, right?
Hmm.
And in that moment, what are you doing in your downtime? While your kids are occupied on with
Yeah.
their screen time, you're scrolling,
Yep. I
scrolling,
do agree,
scrolling.
man.
So it's like, and so this is, man, this is actually very interesting. This is amazing. Going back to what we were talking about,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people, that awakening that you were talking about. You know why it never happens to a lot of people?
'Cause they're
They're
distracted,
they're
bro.
too busy,
Too busy, man. Their
right?
brain's too busy, bro.
And the crazy thing is, you know what one of the things that a lot of people fear the most
It's trying what they want, man, and stepping out of their comfort zone.
before we even get to that, it's the silence.
Bro. Yeah, 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 yeah. That was one one of the things in the book, bro. Like when things get quiet, you kind of start talking in your head, and that's
And
when
people fear that
people, yeah, bro. That's so true, man. Like at the
because,
beginning, bro.
and here's the thing, before you say that, and just keep a mental note because I don't want you to forget
Yeah, yeah.
what you want to forget, what you want to say. See, it's in that silence when that conversation starts to happen.
Hmm.
You know why most people fear that? Because it's the most honest conversation you can ever have
That's
with
true, bro.
yourself.
That's so true, man. Bro. Okay, so I was gonna go like that's when meditation come, bro. Like
Yeah.
when I started meditating, bro, you would be amazed of like when I just started, crazy things would happen in my brain. Like I would like I can't do this, man. Like there's just so many information. Like there's just it's like too much, man. And then I like from the book that I read, it said that just go back to your breathing. When things go south, like let's say you breathe for a couple seconds
Okay.
because you're in that moment, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why they take you deep breath. They ask you to take deep breath.
Hmm.
And then when your brain starts to shift to like thinking about going to Walmart, all this kind of things, you go back to breathing.
Hmm.
When the early stage of my when I just started meditating, bro, it, it was scary, bro. It was like it was more it was like I didn't want to do it, bro. But I kept
It
doing
was
it.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable, man.
Yo, and you just said something when you were talking, you're literally activating a thought in my mind, which is the problem why most people, and here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
We want to be distracted, and if we can't be distracted, we want to be medicated. We want to be high,
But that's so true, man.
right? Because most people cannot stand being themselves
Bro, that's
in
so
that
true.
silence, in that quiet. It
Yeah.
is a very uncomfortable place
It is
because you
uncomfortable for
start to
sure.
manifest your own demons.
But
You start to manifest your own fears. And the crazy thing is, that shit will never go away and it will forever have a hold on you if you do not one day just persevere and start to actually deal with it, like you're saying, right?
yeah, bro.
Rather than cop out and take the easy way out. I'm telling you, when you face who you are,
I agree.
you start to master those thoughts.
Yeah.
You start to master your thoughts and you
Yeah.
start to find ways. And here's the thing, you're a product of what you feed yourself mentally, right? And
I
you
believe in that.
manifest the reality of your mind state, right? So when you start to become very aware
Hmm.
that who you are stems from that inner person, you start to feed that person
Yeah.
with positivity.
That's so true, man.
So you start to stay away from TikTok and
Yeah.
this and that. You start to stray away from pointless, mindless shows. Not to say, and I'm not judging anybody that really wants to sit down, relax, and watch a show,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that. I'm not
Yeah.
hating on you, right? But I'm just saying when you start to realize how important the power of your mind is, you start to give it the respect it deserves, and you
Bro.
start to make time for it so that you you manipulate the environment in your mind to manifest the reality that you
Yeah.
want to, you know?
Man, that's so true, bro.
Yeah.
Like I really do believe in manifestation, man. Like you could become whoever you want, man. I do believe in that. It's just your brain is so powerful. If you tell yourself you're gonna, let's say you're gonna suck at one thing, if you keep repeating that in your brain,
Oh yeah,
you're gonna suck at that one thing.
yeah,
But if you switch your brain into, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, like you keep telling yourself that, bro, you become good at it
yeah,
because you program yourself to become who you want to become.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And here's the thing. If for those of you that are skeptical, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, here we go,
Yeah.
that's that manifest talk and this and that, blah blah. Guess what? If you think that it's BS, um, guess how marketing works.
Yeah. They feed it
It's
to you,
yeah.
man.
Guess how marketing works. Guess what gets you to go go to the stores
Yeah.
and to go to the internet popular hotspots,
Yeah.
certain social media platforms and this and that. Like there are billions and billions of dollars that are spent to learn how to manipulate you. And if you think that manifestation is all BS, you literally manifest the programming that they feed you
Yeah.
on an ongoing basis, right? So you
Yeah.
can either succumb to that programming or you can take charge of that programming
Hmm.
and start manifesting what you choose to feed yourself,
That's true,
right?
bro.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
something clicked when you said the marketing, man. Like I just thought about it, how crazy marketing works nowadays, bro. Like if you go on your phone, if you just Google dogs, if you go back on Facebook, you know what's gonna pop up, bro?
Yeah, I know.
Dog foods and shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, man? Like
As a matter of fact, I
it's
mean,
so
yeah, I
insane,
mean,
bro. Like
everybody knows this. We could be having a conversation right now,
yeah,
right? When you go on your Facebook, like, what are you going to start seeing,
yeah,
right?
bro.
Things that pertain to whatever it is that you're talking about. But
That
here's the thing, right?
that's true.
At the end of the day, if you think that this manifest talk is like a knockoff, it's BS and this and that, guess what? You're a living, breathing product of it.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I do agree on
the
that, man.
joke's on you.
I
I'm
never
just
thought of that, bro.
sorry.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do agree, man. But there's a lot of
What you
people out
wear,
there, don't.
what you buy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I'm
Yep.
not saying I'm above it. I'm
Yeah, me too, man. I'm so bad at it, bro. Like I think because when COVID happened, bro, like Amazon stocks went up, man.
yeah.
Because what do people do? They're just on their phone, man.
Hmm.
You know, instead of thinking of the creative mind, they're just on their phone scrolling, right?
Yeah.
They're just looking up whatever they want. And man, those are the great minds up there, though. They're trying to manipulate the people.
And here's the
There's,
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
It's easy to think, when you put it that way. It's easy for somebody out there right now to think, well, you know what? I'm one person. So
Yeah,
what does it really matter? What difference can I even make? Or, what, whatever. Like
yeah,
my actions or my the different decisions that I choose to make here on wouldn't really amount to anything, right? The fact of the matter is, um, a lot of people think that, but really all it takes is for you to just shift your mindset, and you have to start somewhere, right?
yeah,
um, at the end of the day, when we talked about COVID, right? And we talked about how sometimes there are people that will kind of get ahead of the curve and really really embrace that awakening. But then for most people, you have to literally be forced
yeah,
into it. Uh, something significant has to happen in your life to create that shift. And a lot of times, it's kind of a little too late, in a sense, when that usually happens, because this is life handing you some very very shitty cards sometimes for
hmm,
some people. Um, but it's rare that other people can like look at somebody else's journey and learn from it and then start to shift their path
yeah,
in accordance to the new information that they're getting, rather than life literally forcing you into a corner where it's COVID, you're isolated, you can't go anywhere,
yeah,
you have nothing to do but to pick up that guitar you haven't picked up in 10
yeah.
years,
That's
right?
true, bro.
But yeah.
Like I think that's what happened to me, bro. Like before COVID, man, like well, I don't know, like I was kind of 50. I was still in school at the time before COVID. But so crazy thing, like I know some people out there probably don't even know, but I went to fire school. Hey, we sat in the room before I went to fire school, bro. I was already into films, filming, all that stuff. We sat in the room. We're like, okay, guys, so we're gonna shoot a video for this graduation. Who wants to do it? Everyone just sat there, bro. No one wanted to do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. Okay, all right, guys. Who wants to help Ron? And I was like, I can do it all by myself. No worries, guys. Yeah, like literally, and then after that, man, like even just like doing the training, doing the school, it was so I didn't want to do it, man. Like, could you imagine, bro? You have to roll the hoses, you have to clean tarps, and that hose is heavy as heck. It's a dirty job, man. Going into a burning building, breaking walls, scrolling into like a tiny space, like as small as this, where you can just fit your body. It's like this is not my environment. And then I realized, bro, I'm like, bro, I like holding cameras. This is what I want. And it went back to me. And after that, bro, after that course, I didn't even think of it, man. I finished the whole course, I passed my exam, all that. And after that, we started doing we started filming products. Like the Lot Club, the video I showed you, all that stuff, man. I teamed up with a bunch of people or a few people that I same mindset as I do. And then we started filming. And then COVID happened. And that's when everything paused. We're like, okay, we can't shoot. But then I think that's the government's control, though. They want you to stop with your creative mind, bro.
And that's a conversation. That's a bigger conversation
But
for another day.
exactly. So during COVID, man, I still has it in me, Like I still wanted to. I'm still on my computer. I'm still, although I'm just gaming, but I'm still onto creating content, which is, gaming and streaming, all that. I'm still sharpening my skills, man. It's not like I stopped. It's just I'm focusing more on a different skill than the skill that I was used to, which is filming and creating content. I kind of shifted to that path, bro. Where it's like, which is this now. Like, I probably wouldn't know how to set this up if COVID didn't happen, bro.
Bro, I'll tell you right now, you're blowing my mind. Not that I haven't kind of heard this before, but it blows my mind, and I'll tell you why. Continue.
So yeah, man. Like, now we're here in this room, bro, and we're filming this, bro. Like, I don't even know how we both end up here, man. And to be honest, bro, like I think it's just the law of universe, man. Like if you click with
Shit,
someone, bro, like it's
shit.
just the I swear to God, it's just the law of universe, bro. Like
Oh,
if you manifest something, if you want something and the other person has the same thing that you want or you like, the same mindset, I think it's just the law of universe will just attract you, man. It's like a magnet, bro.
so before we get lost in that, let's rewind because there's a couple of very, very, very fundamental things that you mentioned that I don't want anybody to miss. Um, a little bit of context. Um, so you go to school, fire school, right?
Yeah.
You've done the whole thing. And by the way, let's be honest about the fact that it's actually a very well-paying career,
Yeah.
right?
It's one of
Okay.
the highest paying job out there for
And
sure.
and one day you get this crazy idea. Okay. You're wrapping up your program, right? You're almost done,
Yep.
right? Um, see, this is that awakening that I'm talking about,
Yep.
bro. Daring to be honest with yourself. That's some crazy, crazy stuff. So one day you have this crazy idea. This actually no, let me not call it an idea. Actually, let's call it a revelation. Okay. A realization, a revelation. You manifest, you in that moment, you manifest uh, a disconnection from the reality that you're in, knowing that you're vibing on a different frequency in that moment
Yep.
to something else that is calling you.
Bro, that's
But
true.
that's not even the biggest deal about this, right? On top of all of that, you then are crazy enough, right? Because I'm sure some friends that you might have maybe trusted in the moment,
Yeah.
hey bro, like I'm thinking about doing it. Like, dude, are you nuts?
Yeah.
like fire school, like, firefighter, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know, starting, we're talking about what, like 80K starting,
Yeah.
80, 85, going into
So about
the,
there. Go up. You can
six
go up.
figures and whatever. I mean, I know firefighter friends that are doing very well,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so you probably had, family members saying, dude, you're crazy, right? I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
that conversation went with your parents, or if you even had that conversation with your parents, right? But the biggest deal about all of this to me is not having that realization, not just having that realization, but having the balls when you're just about done your program to bet on yourself, to be true to who you feel in that moment you're called to be,
Yeah.
bro.
I Man, I didn't even want to
See,
pursue
that's
it,
why
man.
that's why this guy's got me here right now.
But it's yeah, man. It's like I'm so glad that, I woke up and it's just that it's not the career path I want to pursue. It's just that I don't want to live the rest of my life, working for someone, bro.
You know what's interesting? We've kind of had similar situations, experiences, encounters. But I mean, now that's a conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I don't want anyone out there to think like, okay, well, you know what? Good for you that you were brave enough,
Yeah.
to transition. And maybe some people, they're equipped with that kind of courage, and
Yeah.
some people are just not, right? There might be
Hmm.
somebody out there that's thinking that, but here's the thing, right? Like this with anything, right? You don't you don't start off a superhero at something. You don't start off an expert at something, right?
Hmm.
You want to be an architect, right? No, no, you go to school and
You gotta
you
learn
learn how
that
to be an
stuff.
architect, and probably your first designs are crap, and
Yep.
eventually, you master the skill, you put more time in. You want to be an athlete, excel at a certain sport, right? You need to put the time in,
Put the
right?
work in.
But
Yeah.
see, the crazy thing, I mean, it's the same thing going to the gym, right?
Hmm.
You want to achieve a certain level of strength, or
Hmm.
physique or whatever, right? You don't just go to the gym once and bam, you walk out
Yeah.
and you're cut. No, it doesn't work like that, right? With anything, it takes time. Same thing with that discipline and that ability to listen to your gut feeling and to shift your vibrations and resonate with it. It doesn't happen overnight. See, it happened back in that class
Yeah, man.
when you were a kid, sitting there realizing that you were called for something different.
For sure, man.
And the more time you spend investing in those different
Hmm.
choices, those small choices here and there, just being true to yourself in all those situations, eventually build up to the courage to be in a program almost done and realize, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And then jump. That's some crazy shit.
It kind of adds up, man. Like all the small details that you do, it kind of like if you just take a step back and think about your life from the day you were born until now, you realize it's like, damn, it all adds up. You don't realize it until you're like 20s, man. At least for me.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people it's different, right? But for me, it was like that, man. It was that calling. It was like, man, because the reason for me that I went to fire school is that I wanted to help, man. I wanted to help the community.
Yeah.
I wanted to help. I wanted to do something that has value. But then as I get older,
You wanted to make an impact.
exactly. It's like firefighting is good, but there's more value into doing this.
Yeah.
If you think
Oh,
about it,
by the way,
the impact.
nothing against all the firefighters
Exactly.
out there.
No, that's true. No, nothing against it. That's a good career job, man. Like
It
all due
just it
respect,
did it
man.
didn't vibe with
I,
you.
it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. It's just not the career path I want to pursue. It's just that I feel like I could provide more value doing this, or even just like reaching out to the people out there, man. Like it's not about for me when I was young, it was like I wanted to do something good for the community, but this is also doing something, bro.
Yeah.
This is the value that like I do here is
Mhm.
probably much more than the firefighter, man.
Yeah.
Because
Again, nothing
nothing
against.
against, yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, man, like it's just, I guess we all just have different.
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Everybody has those tools that we were talking about. Everybody has those things within you, right? And
Hmm.
again, going back to this is kind of developing, it's a developing theme, right? What is it going to take to unlock those things? Is it going to take life throwing you into a situation of maybe unfortunate circumstances that are really going to bring that out of you, or is it just going to be you really just listening to that voice that's always been in your head, listening to that conviction that has always been at the heart of who you are, knowing like, you know what, like I was built for something different. And here's the thing, I'm going to challenge anybody that's listened to this. I'm going to challenge you, but you're kind of living this, right? And you inspire me, by the way. We've already had these conversations, and I wouldn't be here right now without you. But it's like the crazy, and this is the crazy thing, right? You don't necessarily have to take my word for it. I'm not trying to jam this down anybody's throat. You don't have to believe what I'm saying, but I challenge you. I challenge you to go through this life doing the thing that you feel you have settled to do and be fulfilled rather than jumping into the abyss of the unknown of that thing that has always been at the center of who you are. That conviction, by the way, coming back to that word conviction,
Hmm.
there are convictions that we've always had as people. And over time, we suppress them and sometimes they die,
Yeah.
right? But I want to challenge you guys to really think about this. Those things never really die, right?
Yep. It's always in the back of your head, man.
Right? You just have to stop everything, right? Stop
Hmm.
the noise.
Yeah. That's true.
Stop the noise, collect your thoughts, focus in on the moment, and don't be afraid to find that voice again.
Yeah.
Going back to that
That
meditation.
is so powerful, man. I do agree on that, bro. Like that is.
The code is already in you, right?
Hmm.
The code is in you. Now, what is it going to take to unlock that code, right? Are you going to be proactive in figuring out that code to unlock? To figure out the puzzle and unlock that code and figure out who you are, or is life going to do that for you? And here's the thing, you know what? Sometimes, look at what is it? Stats show, some of the world's most successful people, millionaires, billionaires, usually rise to that success after experiencing something traumatic, whether
Yeah.
it's a huge breakup. Oh, and by the way, they do say this, um and maybe next time we need to come prepared so we can look up these
Yeah.
stats as we go. So
We get the right
don't,
numbers,
yeah,
man.
don't shoot the messenger, right? But look it up if you're watching this. A stat that kind of goes highlights the trend that most millionaires are. And here's the thing, we're talking about millionaires because that's basically the most common kind of measure of success. Not to say that I just believe in the monetary mode of success, but it's the easiest to communicate, to translate, to transfer, um, to kind of share the point across. But yeah, most successful people, or let's, I mean, nothing against the women. Um, I'm sure it's true for women too, but they say most successful men become successful after divorce.
Yeah, man.
Right? You lose everything. You lose your house, this and that, blah blah.
Something happens in your life, man. I
And
think,
then you're just forced. Yeah,
but I mean, even just like that, bro. Like even just like something that big that happened to your life, I feel like is a learning experience. I wouldn't take it as a loss, man.
exactly.
I would take it as a
And
learning
and that's the
experience.
point. That's the
Yeah.
point. Which is why I'm not knocking the whole life putting you in a situation and bringing that out of you. Right. I'm just saying at some point. You have to answer the call. You have to answer the invitation. Are you going to take that step, be proactive, and figure out who you are, or are you going to be reactive and let life put you in a situation where that situation happens? And even then, it's not a given that when life takes you through that, you're going to be like, "Oh yes, I found my calling," right?
Yeah.
Because you still have to answer the call, right?
That's
And a
true,
lot of
man.
people never find the courage to answer the
No.
call,
No,
right?
man.
And then your life never
Because
really, you know,
yeah, because it would go back to like the school system, right? Like the way they program us.
Mhm.
I would say they because we're part of it. We went to school.
Yeah,
Same thing, man. It's
yeah.
just opening up your brain and just be like, okay, this is
I,
not
I was
right.
I was on a different level though. As a kid, like in school,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think you were too. Like I remember realizing, and I don't know, guys, call me crazy. That's fine, right? I'm not trying to shove this down anybody's throat. But I remember looking around, looking in the classroom, looking at the posters, looking at the stuff that they were teaching us, and I remember making a decision that I was gonna take it simply for the purpose of passing and moving on to the next grade
Yeah.
and the next grade and getting whatever certification. But it never really resonated with me. There's a lot of things, a lot of questions I was asking about things that now are becoming commonplace because people are now starting to ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people like there's all these things that are blowing people's minds that, like my brothers and I, my family, we were talking about this stuff like 10 years ago,
Yeah,
15 years ago. And then you would really be deemed like crazy, right?
bro.
But anyways, guys, there is more to life than just the physical, than what we see around us. You talked about something absolutely incredible. And let this be whatever, like, forget about anything that we said today. But you mentioned something absolutely critical. Don't ever miss the moment.
Yeah, man. A blink of an eye, time will just fly by, bro.
We get so caught up in,
Yeah.
thinking about yesterday, thinking about tomorrow. And here's the crazy thing, right? And I'm gonna sorry, bro. This like these things, they take
Yeah.
me to a whole different level, right? Think about it this way. Think about it this way, right? Um, this is why I agree with you, and this is why we vibe so well, right? The crazy thing is your life will never be better. Let me preface this with a disclaimer, okay? I am not trying to discourage or depress anyone, right? I'm just challenge you guys to really step outside of yourself right now, accept this challenge, and think on like think on some superstar shit. I always use this phrase, right? But dare to just challenge your thinking right now. You know, life has always been a perpetual now moment. Let that sink in.
Damn.
The future doesn't exist.
No.
The past doesn't exist. Think about it. Life is a perpetual now moment,
Holy
a
crap.
forever stretched now moment. You are always in the now. You're never in the future. You're never in the past.
Yeah. But you could plan your future.
Your future is always based on now because it is the continual becoming of what you are doing right now.
Bro,
Let
that's
that sink
true,
in.
man.
So that is why, here's the thing. Oh, I don't know if I can change the future.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. But then the thing is, people think about like they always overflow their brain and they're like and they manifest the negative
Exactly.
stuff, man.
Exactly.
That's the
Which is
thing.
which is why we're now going to add to that and say
Yeah.
it's a step at a time, right?
Yeah.
How do you eat an elephant? You've probably heard this before, right? A bite at a time, right?
Yeah.
A bite at a time, a step at a time, a second at a time,
That's
right?
true,
A
bro.
now moment at a time. Holy shit. Part of my language. It's a family
That's
it's a
crazy,
family
man.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, our kids watch this like 10 years later. It's like,
How do you change the future? A moment at a time. How
that's
do you
so true,
change your
man.
future? How do you write your future? You write your future a moment at a time. And by
Damn.
the way, do not ever be fooled to think that your decisions do not have power. We all have free will, and every choice that you make is not inconsequential. Every choice you make is not inconsequential. You don't become a superstar athlete overnight,
Yep.
but every decision that you choose to go and put time in the gym,
Yep. I do agree, man.
every decision that you choose to pick up that book, to research that thing that has
Yeah.
always interested you, right? Every now moment
Damn.
is you writing your future because the future is always here and it's always now.
That's crazy, bro. Damn.
Oh,
Man,
man.
let that sink in for the people listening, man.
Oh, by the way, we always like this is the first time we're sitting and having this conversation,
Yeah,
but this is how it always goes.
it's true, man. Like, this is how we usually talk. That's why I'm like, man, we gotta sit down and record this,
Yeah,
bro.
we're
Like,
always like, I don't know, we're always blowing each other's minds. Like
yeah,
he'll say
like,
something, I'm like, holy shit, damn, yo, bro. Like, yeah.
that's so true though. Like, people, man, which is good though. Like, this is, it's good to have this because it's like sometime in the future we're gonna listen to this and we're gonna look back and like, damn, I'm glad we had this conversation because
Yeah.
we wouldn't be who we would be at that time if without this.
Yeah. How many minutes are we in?
We are an hour, bro.
Really?
Yeah,
God damn. Okay, that's
that's crazy.
yeah. We need
That's
to
yeah,
we need to make this digestible. And
yeah. I think
and
we got a good podcast for this
yeah,
time, man. We'll shoot again another time, but I think
yeah,
we got a good amount of conversation there.
yeah.
But
So my question to you is, what are next steps for you? What are you working on?
man, I have a few things working on right now. So one thing is that I'm right now at this very moment, I'm gonna work on my haircut license, barber license. I'm definitely gonna work on that. As you can see, I have my setup here, but I visualize a bigger picture. Like if you think about it, how does Ultracuts do it? How does Sports Clip do it? It's like a retail.
Mm,
So that's what I'm gonna get at down the future here. Definitely gonna work on that. I'm gonna have a few chairs. I visualize myself as owning a business, and this is one of the business I could that is always gonna be there. P- People will always get a haircut. If you think about it, it's never gonna go away.
whether you're 5 years old or 95.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to open a shop one day. Might not be in this country, could be in a different country, but that's one on my list. Also, as for some people that don't know, I'm also a life insurance agent, licensed now, so which is good. So
Yo, this guy does it
trying
all.
to build my business on that too, which is good, man. And obviously, as you guys don't notice, we're doing this podcast because this is one of the things I want to work on towards the future. And I'm not doing this to get famous. I'm literally doing this to document my memory and to document what I have, not for the people, but for my kid.
Who you are, who you're becoming.
Exactly.
And hopefully somewhere down the line, along the journey, somebody else gets impacted, right?
Absolutely, man.
This is not about views,
This is not
right?
about views, man.
It's not
Like I,
about clicks, it's not about
it's numbers,
popularity.
man. Like even if there's just one person watching, I know my mom watches this, man. So,
Hi, mom.
but yeah, man, like that's just one of the
And maybe
things.
my mom's gonna watch this too.
Yeah, never know, man. But it's just another thing that I want to keep doing. I want to keep pursuing, especially
Bro,
with filming. And even with filming, man, like I got a lot of business I could think of, bro. Like I could start a wedding shoot, a photo shoot. I did this setup right here. I did a photo shoot,
see, that's the problem.
Christmas
That's the problem
events.
when you're good at a lot of things.
I don't know, man. It's just that I like trying things, and it's just like finding out which one it is that I like and which one I don't like.
Yeah,
It's like trying to focus more on what I like than what I don't like.
yeah,
So I'm starting to become aware as I get older with that kind of stuff. So obviously with this thing, man, I'm gonna keep doing this, obviously. Um, bro, like it even came to a point where I was just doing it by myself, man. It's just that I just wanted to speak out my brain just so then I could share it and record it.
yeah,
I didn't care, bro, if I had anyone listening to me, man.
yeah.
Like I don't care, bro. My kid's gonna listen to this one day.
Yo, that to me, that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah,
My
man.
takeaway today, just that legacy, right? That legacy.
Absolutely.
Um, I mean, just think about it. One day, your kid. I mean, one day we're not going to be here,
Exactly.
right?
One day, man. Like that's true.
And this is going to be blowing your kid's mind.
Absolutely.
Like, yo, that's my dad.
Like,
Or maybe you're going to be there. You're going to have that awesome
yeah,
magical moment of sitting there and looking back on this,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
and
man.
anybody can do that, right?
Anybody, bro. So yeah, those are the things that I'm working on right now. I'm obviously this is one of the things I want to pursue,
Yeah.
and a lot of people probably think of it as like, oh, trying to go viral and all that, but that's not my point. But
No.
yeah,
Here's the thing, honestly, man, like I think you have so much to give. Like, you I don't know, you just hold me to a very, very high standard. And I think like we need people like that in our lives, people that just
yeah,
cut through, they cut through the BS. Like there's no politics to status like, hey, dude, you got this, you got this, you got this. Like, why aren't you doing this? Or
yeah.
you could do this, you could do that. Like you need people that can speak life into you, see not just who you are right now in this moment, but people that can see through to who they can see you become, and
Oh yeah,
I'm fortunate enough to have had encounters, with you where, um, you know, you really, really just kind of held me accountable, and I stopped having excuses, and just started putting some pieces in place. And then I almost stalled. I almost stalled, and then he caught me again. He's like, "Yo,
Yeah.
what you doing?"
I mean,
You
things
know?
things in life happens, and where we kind of like stop and trying to rethink if is this the right thing that we're doing, So
Yeah,
that kind of happens, and I'm glad that what we met and we're here and sitting
yeah,
having this conversation. This is not the first conversation we've had. This
yeah,
is we've had conversation before this, and it's
yeah,
just that like, damn, we gotta sit down and do
yeah.
this. So
And there's
it's
gonna be more conversations.
oh, absolutely, man. So definitely. So this is just one of the things. But let me ask you the same question. What are you doing now and going forward in the future? What are your plans?
Ooh, what are my plans? I have so many plans, but if I've learned anything in the last little while is I just need to, take it a moment at a time. So looking at in this moment where I am, I think music is heavy on my heart again. I'm not necessarily, and by that, not necessarily from a creative standpoint. I think that it's just more so that desire that has been reignited in me to just put my music out there, right? And it's like it's not so much like I'm way past like the views and the clicks and this
Mm-hmm.
and that, but you know what? Somebody out there might appreciate it, right? There's people
Absolutely.
people people in my own circles that are just stumbling over my music like by accident because I'm not out there like pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, yo, I heard this and I heard that and blah blah, and it's that really speaks to me, and I'm like, yo, dude, um, there could be a lot of other people out there that could
Absolutely, bro.
appreciate the music, right? And on top of that, it's actually really funny. I'm telling you, guys, you manifest this stuff somehow. I mean, it starts with your vision and your thoughts. You don't know this, right? But before we started talking, shortly before we started talking, I've actually been thinking about, yo, I really want to do it like a podcast, right? Not necessarily for views and this and that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
actually talking to my brother. I'm like, yo, dude, like, do you want to get like on a podcast with me? Because I mean, me and my brother, yo, the conversations we
Yeah.
have, like, it's crazy stuff,
Bro, you
right?
could definitely pull it off, man. You have the
And
setup.
yeah, and so like, I think that, and here's the thing, right? I don't think that there's anything wrong in literally just having a panel where we sit down, you, me,
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple of other people that I mean, like, we are really, really like, I mean groups a group of guys that like you know uh just really think outside the box, and call us crazy
Yeah.
or call us whatever you want, but I feel like it could be a good time, and like I've really really been thinking about that, and so I started kind of like working on creating a an idea, a theme, and I actually came up with a name. I just forget what it is. And but then it's like I didn't have, yo, this is how things work. Okay. I didn't want to force it. I found myself wanting to think about a theme. And I'm like, if I need to think about it, if I need to work hard to create and manifest it, then it's not authentic.
Yeah.
Right. I need it to speak to me.
That's true.
One day we're having conversations and we're like, yo, actually he's the one that said this, is like, man, like these conversations are not just for here, but it could be out there, and
That's
people
true, man.
people people can benefit from this. And those were your words. We're not talking about, hey, we can benefit from this. No,
Yeah.
your words were like, yo, dude, there's people out there that can benefit from this,
Absolutely,
you know
bro.
and that's where it just, and then you're like, and the thing about him is, he'll say, yo, we can do this and this is that. Yeah, you know what, let's do it next week.
Man, I
i'm
feel
like
like
i'm like, what? We can actually do this,
I
you know
actually, like I as I get older, I started thinking like that, man, because like when I started realizing like tomorrow's not guaranteed. If you
yeah,
really think about that,
yeah,
it's like it's
yeah,
a lot of people don't understand that, man.
yeah.
Like, bro, think about this, man. Like, I just heard our neighbor right here. He's old. He went to bed, didn't wake up, man. So that kind of shit,
Damn.
you realize, bro, you were like, holy crap, we live
Wow.
once in this world, bro. And we're never
Perpetual
gonna get another chance, man.
perpetual now moment that can cease.
Bro. And I think that's what I want to leave everybody, man, today that's listening. If you're tuning in this podcast, be in the moment. I think that's what everybody should start thinking, man. Like it's you can't keep thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, but now.
I'm gonna throw something crazy out there in addition. You know what being in the moment does? It 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 refocuses, retunes, resets, and reminds you of your humanity.
Hmm.
It reminds you that at the core, all that entitlement that we think that we have, oh, I'm gonna do this next month, oh, next year we plan to do
Yeah,
this. No. Focusing on the moment. And here's the thing. I'm not look, have dreams. Have dreams, but be grounded in the now moment.
yeah,
The now moment grounds you. It's a
yeah.
humbling experience. And yeah, I think for me, like that really speaks to me, and I'm definitely gonna take that.
Down. So yeah, man. Can't wait to hear that your music. For those who don't know, man, he's got over 3 million listeners on YouTube.
Damn.
That's mind blowing. Like you didn't even upload that one.
Yeah.
But
This is
that's
just
just people
people
grabbing
people
your music.
people sharing,
Yeah,
reposting. Yeah.
exactly. You have over 3 million listeners, man.
Hmm.
Could you imagine how many people more people you could share your views, what you got to say?
I'm working on that, and with your help, for those of you don't know, he's definitely being very generous, and I really appreciate it with helping me out, brainstorm and kind of giving me a little bit of guidance because like me and my navigation in the world today, it's a different time, but you navigate it way better than I do. So in the next little while, with your help, I think we're gonna shoot a video
Let's
just
do it.
just as a promotional kind of item, something very simple. And I do plan to do like all the songs are done, which is why I said I'm not necessarily in the creative mode right now. Just more, I have a desire to put the music out. So I
Yeah,
have music that's already done that I just want to put out and see how it does. And it's different. Some people will vibe with it, some people won't, but that's okay.
yeah.
It's my art, it's my creation, and I just want to share it. And if you like it, great. If not,
It only
um,
takes one music, man.
yeah. And then after that, I don't know what's gonna come next. More music, but definitely more podcasts.
Yeah,
I feel like we have a lot of conversations. There's definitely a lot of
absolutely,
conversations to
bro.
be had. So feel like we need to sit down and kind of just structure how we're gonna put it out. Not necessarily like, I mean, the content is authentic. It's genuine. When we sit down and we talk, we know there's a lot there. So we don't necessarily have to sit down and write a show or this and that. I don't know how other
Yeah,
people do it, but for us, it's just basically like man to man. Like, yo,
yeah,
this is the
bro.
world that we're in.
It's just
We're
a
both
normal
we're both
conversation, man.
fathers. What kind of world do we see for our kids? And what
Absolutely.
kind of men do we want to grow up to be, even though we're grown, but we're still growing,
Yeah,
that our kids can be proud of, right? We're not perfect. I've made my mistakes, and but yeah, music, podcasts, definitely some side hustles that I'm thinking about doing, but that's like a couple of years down the line. I really want to really have a passion and a focus to just um, reach our younger generations, kids coming up. It's a very, very tough time. I can't imagine what it would be like, being a kid
yeah,
in
man.
today's world, right?
Today's
So
world is different, bro.
I feel like we have a responsibility to really shape, mold, create a safe environment for our kids
Yeah,
to be
I do agree.
inspired the right way, to be informed the right way, to be empowered to grow up to be, the future that this world needs.
I agree, bro.
Yeah,
And reach their full potential, man.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of before we end this, what kind of side hustles were you thinking that you would or you're planning or what you have in your brain that
Um,
you kind of want to work on too?
Yeah, so side hustles right now. I mean, there's a real estate angle, like, rental
Yeah.
rental properties, but that you can't really bank on that. Um,
Especially with the market right now.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
different,
And
man.
yeah, and I mean, what today? Can I say today's date?
Yeah, go ahead,
Today's
man.
date is what? August
I
21st?
believe so, yeah.
August 21st,
22nd, bro.
August
Oh my
22nd.
gosh. It's already the 22nd.
Oh, damn. Yeah. August 22nd. August 22nd, 2023. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty that is kind of boiling up in, different industries and markets.
Yeah.
Real estate right now is a very, very tricky place to be, especially over the next few months. We might see, and I don't know how this is going to work, but we might see like almost like um, a, a dumping, a ditching of um, kind of those lower end middle class
Yeah.
homes because we're about to see inflation like never before. We're not going to get
Man,
into that. That's a different conversation
that's
for
a
another day.
different, yeah, but that would be a
So
whole different conversation, man. I've been
yeah,
on this stuff too, man.
yeah.
Like, it's so insane.
So things are about to pop. For those of you that are really, really having anxiety about this
Yeah.
uncertainty, all I can say is that you really want to, like, honestly, there's strength in numbers, right? If you're not if you're not connected to a community right now, really would be the time to do that. Being isolated, being alone is is
Yeah.
is not ideal. There's going to be but, there's going to be a transition to like these communities, a pooling, pooling of like resources and that sort of thing. So if you don't have that, I strongly recommend it. Like I said, I'm talking cryptically because I just don't want to get into those
Yeah.
details because that's a whole nother
Absolutely.
conversation
Yeah.
that we can have another day. So
We're definitely gonna have that conversation,
yeah,
man,
so
one of these
when I
days.
think about real estate, I don't know. It's just it's not really something that I can bank on.
Yeah.
However, I do have certain things that I'm kind of working on as far as creating a revenue stream that doesn't necessarily require. I know this sounds, uh, schemish, but hey, it is what it is. But trying to create a revenue stream that doesn't necessarily require me to be tied to said avenue and take up a lot of my time,
It's
right?
more like a passive income.
Yeah. So I want to
Yeah.
have the opportunity to do things like this.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know, like we come to life when we're in this
Yeah,
mode,
man.
in this zone. If you can't tell, uh, this is I don't know. This is just one aspect of
Yep.
things that we feel we were born to do. So yeah. So there's the real estate. There is I mean I'm doing a different route with what you're doing, but kind of like financial services,
Hmm.
financial services that have the opportunity and the potential for me to scale.
Scale. Yeah. I think
Um,
we can't really mention the companies,
no, yeah,
but as far as that, I think we have the same kind of both companies have the same kind of how would I say this without, the same kind of environment, I
yeah,
would say, where
yeah,
you can
same,
scale your business and build your passive income.
yeah,
I think we both have the same
yeah.
concept in the business.
Yeah, and it's really like, and see, it's almost unless somebody, and I'm willing for somebody to reach out to me and just blow my mind with a non-conventional kind of a model. Right now, it just seems almost impossible to experience that passive income without scaling,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But hey, for those of you that are more, experts and masters at that, please
Yeah.
reach out, and we would love to have those
Absolutely, man.
conversations.
Like I'm
I'm
just
always,
starting in too, so like
yeah,
I don't even you think you know a lot, but
yeah,
no, man,
exactly,
that's just the thing, right? Like
yeah,
there's always someone out there that knows more than you do. So
yeah.
yeah, if someone out there's listening and want to reach out, but it's basically a life insurance agent. I
Yeah.
don't know if that is the same thing, but yeah,
Yeah,
it is
pretty much.
pretty much. Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I know like when you mention life insurance, it really puts
Yeah.
a lot of people off. But think about life insurance. Actually, consider that you don't know everything about life insurance.
Hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, actually, the world's wealthiest people, the billionaires, this and that, actually
Hmm.
um, make most of their wealth through um, insurance and life insurance policies.
Oh, that's true, man.
Basically, like I mean, like I said, we can't necessarily get into too much,
It's just that
but yeah,
it's
there's lots of
educating
opportunity.
this people, man. Like a lot of people think it's a scam or whatnot, but it's honestly it's just financial literacy, bro.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I've had people come up to me with like crazy ideas that other people thought that I was crazy for even entertaining. And I mean, I've had returns that really that blew my mind,
Yeah.
right? Somebody walked up to me one day, said, "Hey, you know what? Like, do you have like 5 grand? I can't get it this. Do you have 5 grand? I'll put it into this,
Yeah.
and I could turn that 5 grand into 40 grand." I'm like, Psh, "Yeah, right."
Yeah.
I jumped in, and yeah,
Yeah. Eh?
it worked. I can't make it up. But
No,
then
it does.
but then COVID happened, and I lost everything.
I
But
think
that's
you
okay.
just I think you just kind of have to like back up those information, man. Because I
Yeah,
do same with me, bro.
yeah,
It's like I think like all this investments, all that stuff is a scam, but man, it's a high risk, high reward, man.
yeah.
So, and a lot of people don't know that. But anyway, we're just kind of jumping all over.
I know.
I think it is time for us to finish this podcast, wrap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I think we touched a lot of good things in this podcast, man, and we're definitely
As
gonna,
an introductory podcast,
yeah,
just to I
exactly.
think
This is
there's a
the
lot of
very first podcast that
yeah,
we did together, and we're definitely gonna have more for sure, man. Like this is not this, this is just the start, bro.
yeah,
Who knows, man? If we never know life, right? Like, bro, I would if you're into this kind of things, man, you could even start your own podcast, bro. Like, think about it in a way where you can just save your memory and, you know, have your kid to watch it later on.
yeah. See, I need
So,
to learn how to do that stuff.
oh, absolutely. It's not that hard, man. Watch a few YouTube videos, bam. Yeah. Anyway, thank you to everyone who's watching, listening to this podcast. It was just great talking to you.
Yeah,
So check out his Spotify one of these days, guys. It's gonna come out. We'll announce it. Absolutely. And stay tuned.
yeah,
Anyways, bro, it was nice having you.
yeah. It was a pleasure. And
Pleasure.
hey, dude, let's do this more often.
Oh, absolutely, bro. We're gonna do this often, man. And I think we're gonna touch a lot of people out there and, give our perspective.
You know what's crazy? Throughout all of this, right from when we started talking, like like because before we got on, we are talking about like, oh, just having an authentic,
Yeah.
conversation. And I'll tell you, like, from the moment we started talking, bro, I like it just it stopped feeling like a podcast.
Yeah, bro.
It's just yeah,
It's
it's
just
just
like
like
me and you. It's just
our
like
regular
two guys in a
conversations.
garage
Yeah,
just having a conversation, bro.
yeah,
Like literally just recording it and it's the way you think about it, man.
yeah,
Like just like that goes back to the being in the moment, right?
yeah.
But anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time, man. Today's today, tomorrow's another day. Peace.